Well, I told you yesterday that we would be doing a love meat sandwich. Well, that's what we're doing today. We are talking about First Corinthians chapter 13 this morning. And the beautiful thing about First Corinthians chapter 13, it is in between the two slices of bread called chapter 12, spiritual gifts, and chapter 14, using those spiritual gifts not only in worship and our time to gathering together, but also in the rest of our lives. So we'll come into that. We're going to be looking at that today. Also, today we'll talk about weather related issues here in Huntsville, Texas, and things that's kind of doing us in a little bit. We'll get all of that into all of that today in today's episode of The Word. Please stay with us. So, we're getting to the meat of this sandwich. It's going to be, well, if we kind of play with a sandwich analogy, a real thick pastrami on rye or a real thick Reuben. Oh, makes my makes me feel all goosebumpy all inside. Anyway, but that's what love is all about. It's this thick chapter. I mean, there's not a lot to it. I mean, as far as verses are concerned, but what there is to it is about the context of love in and of itself. So I'll set you up. That we'll get our Bibles ready to go. We'll be in First Corinthians chapter 13. First Corinthians chapter 13. Ready? Right, let's go. If I speak in the languages of human beings and of angels but have no love, I have become a loud gong or a clashing cymbal. Even if I prophesy and understand all mysteries and have all knowledge, and even if I have all faith to move mountains but have no love, I am nothing. Even if I give away all that I have to feed the hungry and give up my body to be burned and have no love, it does not help me. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious. It does not boast or become conceited. It is not indecent. It is not selfish. It is not irritable. It does not plan to hurt anyone. It does not delight in wrongdoing, but is happy with the truth. It bears everything, believes everything, hopes for everything, endures everything. Love never fails. If there are prophecies, they will be brought to an end, or other languages, they will stop, or knowledge, it will be brought to an end. For we learn only a portion of something and prophesy only a portion, but to an end. When I was a child, I used to talk like a child, think like a child, plan like a child. Now that I have become a man, I have given up the ways of a child. Now we see a blurred image as in a mirror, but then we will see face to face. Now I learn only in part, but then I shall know as he has known me. And now there remains these three: faith, hope, love. But the greatest of these is love. Beautiful thing about this love is, as Paul is describing it, it is the description of what we have come to use affectionately, agape. That's the word. That is the word that Paul is using here. It is no other form. It is no other word save agape. Now, let's kind of start taking this apart a little bit for the moment. When Paul says, if I speak in the languages of human beings and of angels but have no love, I have become a loud gong or a clashing cymbal. Here's where 1 Corinthians 13 is connected to 1 Corinthians 12. What was one of the gifts that God had given to his people? Well, it is speaking in all kinds of languages. Another can speak in various kinds of languages. Another can interpret languages. That's at the very tail end of verse 10 in 1 Corinthians 12. If I have no love, these things are just noise. It is just noise to people. Even if I prophesy and understand all mystery and have all knowledge, even if I have all faith to move mountains but have no love, I am nothing. Well, how about this particular set of gifts? Now, the Spirit shows himself to one who make him useful. The Spirit gives one the ability to speak wisely, wisdom, to another the same Spirit to speak with knowledge, to another the same Spirit gives faith. If I have no love, with that ability to prophesy, to proclaim, to teach and preach, if I have no opportunity to use the wisdom and the knowledge that is of God, and if I have no love with my faith, then what does Paul say? I am nothing. Paul talks about the gifts of giving, the gifts of helping, the gifts of service. He talks about those in Romans chapter 12. But he refers to them, and he even says, if I give everything away, if I martyr myself for the sake of others, but if I do it without love permeating it, it does not help me. Then Paul gets into the context of what actually is love. And this is the greatest thing that we struggle with as human Christians. Let me rephrase that even closer. Human American Christians, Western influenced Christians. Because we see these images of love, TV, internet, we hear them all about people. Oh, I love you. You know, back when I was younger, it initiated as a Super Bowl commercial. And it was a Bud Light commercial. And somebody would say, the main actor in the commercial says, I love you, man. Well, I love you too, but you can't have my Bud Light. You know, this is the perversion in a sense of how the world has perverted the concept of love. The world needs to come back to this. The world needs to look at this and say, this is what love is. Love is patient. The world is not patient. I want my stuff, and I want my stuff now. Love is kind. Have you seen what's on TV lately? Is that kindness or what? No, it's not. So they're not love. Love is not envious. Oh my gosh, if I ever saw any more people saying, I wish I had a car just like Uncle Johnny, or something like that. It does not boast. It does not become conceited. Okay, I'm not touching that one. It is not indecent. It is not crude. It is not socially unacceptable. It is not selfish. It is not irritable. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I'm encapsulating every ounce of the world that you see. I mean, not everybody is all of this. Don't get me wrong. But what you see happening in the world, it's not loving. It is not loving at all. It does not plan to hurt anyone. It does not delight in wrongdoing. In other words, it's not sarcastic. Ha, 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 you messed up. Ha, 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 ha. No, love doesn't do that. Love, it bears everything, believes everything, hopes for everything, endures everything. And this is the greatest part about love. Love never fails. It doesn't give up. It doesn't give up on you. God never gives up on you. See, this is all love is the personification of God himself. God, who is patient. Oh my word, how long was God patient with the nation of Israel? His patience was with the nation of Israel, just as his patience with us is with us today, waiting for us to realize how dumb and stupid we are, how ignorant we can be, how selfish and pompous and arrogant we are. God is waiting for us to wake up, to confess our sins to him, to realize how selfish-oriented we are. For us to wake up and to realize that we have sinned against him in thoughts, words, and deeds, by what we have done and by what we have left undone. That we need his forgiveness. We need his love. And through Jesus Christ, he has given us his love. God loved the world so much in this that he sent his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. God has given us life. And let us believe in that life. God is all of those things. And as we make our way through the rest of chapter 13 here in 1 Corinthians, if there are prophecies, again, referring back to chapter 12, they will be brought to an end. Or other languages, they will stop. Or knowledge, it will be brought to an end. For we learn only a portion of something and prophesy only a portion. But when the completed thing comes, that which is only a portion will be brought to an end. These gifts that we have been given, these gifts that Paul described in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, these are given to us for the sake of usage, right here, right now, to serve one another, to bring God's grace and mercy to light, and to bring God himself into the lives of people everywhere. We are to use these things, and we use them with this love that God gave St. Paul to tell us what love is. In other words, we are to love one another just as God has loved us. Jesus said it in another way. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And the second is like the first. Love your neighbor as yourself. And here is the description. St. Paul gives us the description of what love actually is. Now, are we ever going to be perfect in our application of love? No, that's not going to happen in this lifetime. But just as it's incomplete. We are incomplete. We are immature. Yes, I'm nearly 65 years old. And according to God, I am massively immature. But I'm going to grow up. Not in this lifetime. In heaven, when I am finally with God, I will finally have grown up. What that means is all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the faith, all the skills, all the talents, everything, we hone them, we are strengthened by them, we use them, which is all great, wonderful, necessary for us as the Christian church to do. But that doesn't make me mature in God's eyes. It still makes me a child. And Paul uses the analogy of being childlike in the context of now and not yet. Let's finish our chapter. We're going to start right here in verse number 11. Verse number 11. When I was a child, I used to talk like a child, think like a child, plan like a child. Now that I have become a man, I've given up the ways of a child. Now we see a blurred image in a mirror, but then we'll see face to face. Now I learn only in part, but then I shall know as he has known me. And so what Paul is getting us to try to understand is our application of love and the gifts that God has given to us. We do so in the realm of how they help us to become more mature, but we will never know fully. We will never have the full wisdom. We will never have the full faith, full, total, and complete. We will never apply totally and completely in love in this realm of temporary, time-bound people. But when we enter the timelessness of eternity and the presence of God forever, everything will be made fully known to us, just as we have been and always will be known by God the Father. He's always known us. And when we finally reach heaven, we will fully know everything. All those burning questions that you've been wanting to ask God, they're all going to be answered. They'll all be answered. No more burning questions, only praise and salvation with God. Before we get there then, Paul's got one last final thing for us to understand about love. And this is this. And there now three remain. These three. Faith, hope, love. But the greatest of these is love. Faith is wonderful. Hope, promise, helps us to endure. Love helps us to not only to live, to engage, but love encapsulates the other two. So we've got this trinity, to use a word that we normally use to describe God. Now we can use to describe this faith, hope, love connection. Faith, we equip it. Hope, we are encouraged by it. Love, we are engaged with it. That's part of our mission at Faith Lutheran Church and School. Equip the faith, encourage with hope, engage with love. That's our life. That's our life here at Faith. So we'll finish the sandwich up. We're going to get to the other piece of bread that goes on this sandwich, but we wanted to get to the meat of it today. Speaking of today, just a couple of public service announcements to pass along. If you did not hear our services for Ash Wednesday because of this ice that is falling and people are not going to be able to get out of their driveways, and it's just too risky to bring people to our worship, time of worship this evening. So we've canceled. The Board of Elders, Pastors James and myself have discussed it. We decided to cancel church for tonight. Now, here's what you don't know. The Ash Wednesday celebration, the focus of Ash Wednesday normally would be on repentance, renewal, which we still will do. We'll just move that to next Wednesday, a week from today. So we're going to change a little bit of our foci for the Wednesday evening services. Just we're moving them off a week. So I look forward to seeing you guys Sunday. It should be partly sunny, 64 degrees as a high for Sunday. The snow and ice, mainly the ice, so we can get back and forth to church and get in and inside and outside our building, that will all be gone by the time Sunday hits. So I am looking forward to seeing you guys Sunday morning, either in-house or online on YouTube. If you feel comfortable, especially not knowing the conditions and everything else, that's why one of the reasons why we make our service live streamed on YouTube available. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you guys starting on Sunday. Thank you very much. I got one more devotion to put out for you tomorrow morning, and perhaps, probably not too sure, but perhaps I might actually do it from my office instead of my house. That would be different, at least for this week. So thanks, guys, for paying attention. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Have any questions, thoughts, comments, please make a comment along the bottom of this video page. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Just hit the subscribe button when you're on our channel and then ring the bell. That way it will let you know the next time a new episode of The Word comes out, as well as our live streaming and any other episodes of any other series that we have here at Faith. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. You guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye.